Hey, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So, today's story time, I'm talking about a crazy ex. Not my crazy ex-girlfriend. I've talked about a couple of my crazy ex-girlfriends, but in this, I'm talking about more of friends that also kind of involved me a little bit. But I've had a lot of fucked up shit happen to me when it comes to dating, but like nothing to this extent, because this is fucked up. So, this story takes place like 5 months ago, right? I'm hanging out with one of my friends. He just went through a really messy breakup with his girlfriend, and they had a pretty toxic relationship. They definitely didn't get along the best. And my friend decided it was time to call it quits. And she did not like that. She was spamming his phone every day. I was hanging out with him on this night, and no joke, she called probably 15 times unrestricted. Like, he blocked her number, so she would call on Do Not Disturb or other people's phones. So it was pretty fucked up. My friend was also very upset about this breakup because he really liked this girl, and she lived with him for like a year. Like, literally, she moved in with him to his house, and they shared the same car, and he really liked her. He did a lot for her too. Like, he bought this car. It was his car, no one else's. It was his own car. He paid for it. And he gave her a spare key to the car because hers broke down a really long time ago, and she never had the money to get it fixed. And her parents wouldn't help her, and the insurance wouldn't. So he's like, you know what? Just like take my car whenever you need it. Here's a key. Just try not to crash. And that's literally what happened. Like, she pretty much got his car for free, and she was using it almost more than he was. And when they broke up, he took his car back because, like, you're not going to be able to use his car if you're broken up. Like, you don't live together anymore. But when she was leaving, he asked for the key back for his car, his spare key. And she was like, oh, I lost it. And he's like, oh, well, just when you find it, please give it to me. If you don't find it, no biggie. I have my own key anyway. That's why I gave you my spare. And she's like, yeah, okay, no problem. Like, I'll look for it. Well, she was bullshitting. You'll find out how in a minute. So, back to the story time. Me and my friend hanging out at his house. He just went through this messy breakup with his girlfriend. She left. She was moved out, back living with her parents. And he still had a few things of hers in his room, like in boxes. And on this night, she texted him and was like, hey, like, I still have some of my things there. When can I come pick them up? He's like, oh, don't even worry about it. I'll just bring them to you. I'll load them into my car and bring them to you tomorrow morning. She's like, okay, sounds good. And he's just like, dude, I really don't want to go over there. Like, I'm just not in the mood for this. This is so shitty. Seeing her just makes everything worse. And I was like, dude, if you really want, like, I can, like, just go up to her door with them and, you know, leave them there or, like, give them to her directly. Like, you don't have to go in and do it yourself. He's like, oh, I appreciate it, man. But, like, no, I owe this to her. And I was like, okay, man. So the night goes on, and me and him are just playing some video games. And he fell asleep eventually. It got pretty late. He fell asleep. And I pretty much just decided to stay there because in his room he had 2 beds. So I laid down. I'm just on my phone. And his window faces his driveway at his house. So I'm just hanging out in his room on my phone. And all of a sudden I hear something coming from outside. And it sounds like it's in the street. So I peek through the blinds on his window. And I can see somebody's in his car. Like, his car door is open. And someone's leaning into his car in the back seat. And the light in the car is on. So I'm like, okay, someone's clearly in his car. I'm not about to let this fucking kid get robbed. I'm going to do something. So I wake him up. I'm like, yo, I think someone's in your car. And I quickly fucking spring out of his bed. He gets up really quick. I grab a baseball bat because he literally has a baseball bat in his room just chilling there in case he ever needs it because he lives alone. And I run downstairs and I open the door. He follows behind me. And I don't know why I was being so cocky and confident this night because usually in a situation like this, I'd be a pussy and just try and, like, call the cops. But, like, for some reason, I was just angry, and I wanted to take matters into my own hands. And by the way, guys, never do that, okay? Don't try this at home. If you ever see someone in your front yard doing something sketchy, or you don't know them, or they're breaking into your car or something, just call the cops, because they'll actually handle the situation right. What I was doing was just trying to scare them off, and, like, then call the cops. But anyway, me and my friend run out there. I have this fucking baseball bat in my hand. He had nothing but his fist. Like, he just thought he was about to try and fight this person. But we're yelling. We're like, get the fuck out of the car. Get the fuck out of the car. And it was like this person just leaning in the car. And they back up and turn around, and they look at us, and it's a girl. And I'm like, oh, shit. And I get closer, and I'm like, wait a minute. And I can see it's my friend's ex. And I turn around, and his face is just, like, completely confused. And I'm just like, oh, shit. So I drop the bat. I'm like, I'm sorry. I thought you were someone else. And she's like, it's all good, Austin. And I'm like, all right, I'll let you guys talk. Because I didn't know why she was there, but clearly she wasn't there for me. So I just turn around and walk away a little bit, you know, a safe distance so they feel comfortable to talk. And I can hear them start to yell at each other. And I hear my friend yell out, you can't fucking take it. It's my fucking car. And I start to think, I'm like, wait a minute. What does he mean by that? Like, is she trying to say that it's her car too or something? So he's like yelling at her. He's just getting really upset. So I go over there and I try and just break it up because it got to a point where they weren't even talking. They were just yelling random shit at each other, being angry. So I kind of split them up. I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, dude, tell me this girl isn't fucking insane. She just tried to say that she came here to pick up what was rightfully hers, being my car and her stuff in the car. And And I'm like, what? And I look at her and she's like, yeah, it's my car too. Like, we shared it for a year. It's mine too. I'm like, did you pay for his car or his insurance or anything? And she's like, no, but he said it's mine too. I'm like, yeah, well, when you're together and you're living with him, sure, what's his is yours, but it really isn't legally yours. You can't just fucking roll over here just because you have a spare key and fucking steal his car. Like, how'd you get here anyway? And she's like, oh, I Ubered. I'm like, so wait, your plan was to Uber here with the spare key and then just steal his car with your shit inside of it? And she's like, yeah, well, that's why I was in the back seat. I was looking for my stuff, which I didn't find. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably in his room. He's not just going to leave all your stuff in the back seat of his car. Like, he told you he was going to bring it to you in the morning. Why didn't you just wait till the morning? He was going to bring you everything. And she's like, yeah, he'd bring me everything except my car. And I was like, it's not your car. Why don't you understand that? And then my friend interrupts and he's like, it's not your fucking car. It's my fucking car. You lied to me about not having a spare key and you just tried to fucking steal my car. Give me the key right now. And she's like, no. He's like, you got 5 seconds. Give me the key. And she's like, are you threatening me? And then I got kind of in between them because I didn't know what he meant by that. And he's like, just give me the key. And she goes, no. He goes, okay, I didn't want to have to do this, but he pulls his phone out and he's like, you have 5 seconds to give me my car key or else I'm calling the police and I'm telling them that you came over here and that you were trying to steal my car. So what's it going to be? And she's like, fine, just take the key. And I was like, damn, like they finally came to an agreement. That's good. And my friend goes, all right, Austin, go upstairs and just wait. I'm going to take her home. And she's like, no, I'll just get an Uber. And he's like, okay, you want to pay for an Uber? Go ahead. And she's like, yep. And that's what happened. She called an Uber, went home, we went inside, and my friend had his key back, which is good, which means she couldn't unlock the car and try and take anything out of it or steal anything, including the car itself. And in the end, everything ended up being okay. He never ended up calling the police on her. She kept calling unrestricted the next day as well, but in the end, nothing too weird or creepy happened after this, and they kind of just went their separate ways. But yeah, guys, that's the story of me and my friend witnessing his crazy ex-girlfriend try and take his car. So if you guys enjoyed this story or found it funny, please leave a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. Leave your stories in the comments down below. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys all later. Peace.